So today we are going to be taking a look at a really huge keyboard. This is actually from the same manufacturers as FancyTech. So this is, I think, the new keyboard that they're having. It's called the ABM084 right here, and it's a really huge keyboard with knobs. So let's just check it out today and let's unbox it first. So on the front we can see, of course, the CIDOO logo. Minimalist design, inheriting the original style. This is exactly what you like, thank you. I'm not so sure what that means, but the box overall is really nice. Again, on the front we have ABM084 division, designed by CIDOO, and on the side we have actually a sneak peek of what the keyboard looks like on both sides. It looks pretty nice. Top it says the same thing, and on the bottom we just have a few specifications right here. We can see it's a 80% tri-mode RGB hot swap esports mechanical keyboard. Let's unbox it and see what's inside. So opening up the box, we have this sheet of paper with the CIDOO logo again, and it shows the outline of the keyboard on top. It is a pretty interesting layout, and we have a teaser to the knob right here. And there's a lot of accessories included. Let me just take everything out from the box. So with every keyboard you also get a user manual in the box. This is the ABM084, and you get to see the outline of the keyboard now. And of course you can see that it has a gradient keycap, which is really interesting, and we'll take a look at it later. And in this manual it covers all of the basics you need, like the Bluetooth mode, the wireless mode, or the 2.4 GHz mode. And it also explains the auto sleep mode and the multimedia keys. The next thing included is this braided cable. So it is a type A to type C cable, really nicely built. Actually, it feels really solid and thick, and I can see that it is actually gold plated and it looks pretty good in hand and premium. I think it's around 2 meters in length. Also included in the box is this 2-in-1 switch and keycap puller, which is pretty nice, and it also has the CIDOO logo on it. And you also get some other keycaps included right here, so you can switch it out if you want to make it look better with these keycaps. Before we take a look at the keyboard, I want to say that this is a really nice cover included. It even has the branding right here. It's yellow in color, and basically what it does is just sits on top of the keyboard and prevents dust and any spillage to go onto the keyboard. So this is the ABM084, and of course first impression so far, or the first thing you'll realize, is the keycaps. They look really nice with this gradient look to it, and I think they look very unique. So it goes from a black to this dark blue, purple, pink, red and orange, and then we have the black again. And of course you can see the knob right here and these two function keys, which looks awesome in my opinion, and I think it's a really interesting keyboard and style to it. Overall, the keyboard is made out of plastic in this matte plastic kind of feel, and it doesn't really show any fingerprints whatsoever. It's a pretty good feeling plastic. This is the side profile of the keyboard. We can see first off the on-off switch right here and the Windows and Mac compatibility button. So if you're using Windows, basically switch it to Windows, and if you're using Mac, switch it to Mac. And we can also see that the keyboard has a pretty weird profile for the keycaps. I'm not so sure what profile this is. I'll put it in the video if I actually find out what it is, but it's pretty interesting. It has like this really rounded feel to it, and it also curves from the top to the bottom. And talking about the case, we can see right here it has an incline from the bottom to the top, so it provides a better typing experience. But one really nice thing, they also include this feet, so you can increase the height of the keyboard. This is what the other side of the keyboard looks like. It looks rounded off the same, and of course we have the knob right here, which feels really solid as well. The bottom and the top of the keyboard case is almost the same. It all has this rounded feel to it, and there is a line in between going through the keyboard, but it feels really solid in hand. And on the top left corner we have the type C connection port. And this is the back of the keyboard. We can see it's made out of this plastic, and there's this 4 non-slip feet right here, and we get these 2 feet which you can increase the height with. So there's a smaller one and a taller one, and of course right here snugly fit is the 2.4 GHz connector. I like it that there's a spot for it, so you won't actually lose it when you're traveling or moving about. And this is what the keyboard looks like with the RGB on. Honestly, it looks pretty good, and it's really bright as well. It just looks like this because I'm recording this video with pretty bright lights. So I think the special feature of this keyboard is actually on this top right corner, where we have these 2 extra buttons and a knob in this TKL layout. Honestly, it's really interesting, and the knob also has the CIDOO logo on it, and it feels really nice in hand, and it also has a press down function. I'm not really sure what these 2 keys do. I can't really find what it says in the manual. Overall, really nice TKL layout, so it's a really nice keyboard with a knob. Now let's check out the keycaps, switches and stabilizers in the keyboard. So the keycaps I have on this keyboard is actually the gradient black version, but if you want a more lighter color, they actually have another avocado light version and it looks pretty good as well. And the materials for these keycaps are dye-sub PBT and they feel pretty awesome, and the print is really sharp as well. And I just found out that these are actually KDA profile keycaps, so I'm not really sure what that is, but it's pretty interesting. As for the switches, there's actually 4 you can choose from. There's the TTC Gold Pink, Speed Silvers, Ace, and Flame Red. So there are different variants or different types of switches. They have the tactile, linear, and clicky switch. The one I have right here is the Flame Red, which I believe is a linear switch. So these switches are pretty interesting. They are from TTC and they already come looped from the factory. They have an operating force of 45 grams and they bottom out at 53 grams. And this is what the switch looks like close up. You can see that it has a dust proof stamp, and on the top it has a enhancer for the RGB LED, so this will actually illuminate it better. We have a little TTC logo in front, and the flame red switch looks really red. And on the back we can see it's 3-pin, so it fits this PCB really nicely because this PCB is 5-pin hot swap with north facing RGB LEDs. And as for the stabilizers included, these are actually some plate mounted stabilizers and they do come factory looped as well. But from my experience from using this keyboard for a few days, I would say that they sound actually pretty good out of the box. And one more thing I want to mention is that this keyboard also comes with pour-on foam already included in this keyboard kit. So we can see a little bit of it right here on the space bar, but basically what it has a plate foam which sits in between the plate and the PCB, which is pour-on foam. And in the case on the bottom we also have some pour-on foam inside to absorb the sound when typing and using, and honestly it creates a really nice typing sound and experience. And if you want to customize this keyboard more, there's actually a software which is compatible with this keyboard, and you can configure the light effects, the macros, and of course the functions of this keyboard, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. So with most of the stuff already covered, now let's move on to the typing sound test to see how this keyboard sounds like straight out of the box. So that was the typing sound test, and I have to be honest, I think that this keyboard sounds really good out of the box. And I think that mainly has to do with the switches and stabilizers included. They appear to be pretty good and they already come loop, and that's a really nice point on these kind of pre-built keyboards. You don't have to mod it or loop it yourself. And my final thoughts are, overall this is a pretty good TKL keyboard with a knob, which is really rare to find these days. And with the 3 modes of connection, the pour-on foam, these really nice switches and stabilizers, and the overall functionality and software included, it's a pretty good package, and it's priced at only around 600 ringgit for the whole thing. But in my opinion, there's only 2 downsides about this keyboard. The first thing is actually the keycaps, the KDA profile keycaps. First time of me hearing this, and in my opinion, I'm not really liking it. It feels kind of weird and it's inconsistent in my opinion. I don't really know where my fingers are. Maybe that's just me because I've been using cherry keycaps and I'm really accustomed to them. Talking about cherry keycaps, another thing I don't really like about this keyboard is actually the PCB. So the PCB uses north-facing RGB LEDs, and that might be a problem if you want to switch out the keycaps on this keyboard. Again, for some cherry profile ones, they might have some interference, but with this keyboard kit itself, there's no problems whatsoever. And those were my final thoughts and review of this FancyTech ABM084 TKL layout keyboard with a knob. So huge thank you again to FancyTech for sending this over for a review. If you guys are interested, I think this is priced around again 600 to 650 on their Shopee. Links will be down in the description below if you are interested. It's a pretty interesting keyboard, and again thank you to them for sending it over. So yeah, that's been it for this video guys. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, dislike this video if you didn't like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I favor more content like this coming soon. As always, thanks for watching. Goodbye guys.